It's my honor to be here. Not a privilege, it's an absolute honor to be here. How many teachers in the group? That's quite a spattering, okay? How many parents in the group? Okay, that's much lesser. Okay, I've addressed many gatherings through my career, but this is the first time I'm speaking to teenagers in the age band 13 to 18, I'm told. I've never addressed teenagers, so I'm more nervous than you are, okay, in terms of what I'm going to, be left with at the end of this session. Okay, so thank you for having me here, HMUN. I'm delighted to be here, as I mentioned. If you look at August 16th, many, many years ago, it has many significant moments. In 1777, France went bankrupt today, on the same day. When you see what's happening around us in terms of trade war, somebody will go bankrupt. So the world hasn't changed much in 242 years. For the first time in 1858, there was a telegraph message from the President of America to Queen Victoria. And on this day, in 1988, the concept of artificial intelligence was launched by IBM. So August 16th is a very important day for many reasons, and for me, the ability to be with you here today. What I'll talk for you is here. How do you chart your leadership journey? What does leadership mean to you, and how do you chart your personal journey? So, over the next 30 minutes, this is what I will cover, and then we'll leave it open for question and answers. First, you are a privileged lot. I was asking the organizers, what does it take to be part of this? Obviously, school has to nominate, you have to be here. The sum total of expenditure on this whole event, if I was sitting in the audience with you, is close to 30,000 rupees. That's $420. I want you to know how privileged you are from one point of view. The average income of Indians is $2,000. The average income of Indians is $2,000, and this is $420. The average savings of Indians is $25,000, 25,000 rupees. 25,000 rupees. So, you are a privileged lot, your parents have worked hard, your teachers have worked hard, you have worked hard. So there is a benefit to privilege, but use it well. Please use it well and use it responsibly. First thing, every leadership journey is different. There are no two leadership journeys which are the same. Every leadership journey is dramatically different from the previous one. So do not expect your leadership journey to reflect either your father's leadership journey or your uncle's leadership journey or somebody else's or your brother's leadership journey. Each leadership journey is dramatically different, and you must think about it from that point of view. Do not try to copy somebody else's leadership journey. People have a lot of expectations. In 1860, Charles Dickens wrote Great Expectations. And in Great Expectations, Philip Pirrip gets adopted by a blacksmith's family. All his luck, all his hopes, all his ambitions go up and down, and he ends with nothing. The moral of Great Expectations, when Charles Dickens wrote it, was that affection, loyalty, and conscience matter far more than money and wealth and class. It's no different today. There are a lot of expectations of you. Let's look at the first set of expectations from a very important group who are your role models today, your teachers. This is what your teachers expect of you. Your teachers want you to be a good boy or a good girl, which means academic focus and staying disciplined. No pranks, nothing in class. That's what your teachers expect of you. Yes or no? Absolutely right. Now let's look at what your parents expect of you. This is teachers. Let's look at what your parents expect of you. Your parents want you to do well, meaning studies, A+ grades, and be sociable. Be sociable means if auntie comes, say good evening. Uncle comes, say good morning. Be sociable to everybody in the house. Be sociable to all our relatives. Don't cut my nose in front of our relatives. That's what your parents tell you. Yes or no? Yes, okay. Absolutely right. Now let's look at what your friends, people who are sitting to your right and people who are sitting to your left, what do they expect of you? Your friends want you to be only their friends. They want loyalty and trust above everything else. Okay, so you have your gang, you exclude everybody else. We don't want them in our gang. We are a different gang. This is what your friends expect of you. Yes or no? Absolutely right. So this is what your teachers, your parents, and others expect of you. Of these expectations comes leadership, and that's what shapes you. So the first comment I want to make to you about leadership is as follows. Leadership is not a degree. Number one, you cannot learn leadership by going to a class. Leadership is not grades and marks. Leadership is not a title like vice president or whatever it is. Leadership is not power. Leadership is not money. Do not equate any of them to leadership. Leadership is about people, is about everyday life. That is why it is so difficult. If leadership were all about money, then the richest would be leaders. If leadership were all about marks, then the brightest students would be the leaders of the world. If leadership were about titles, we'd give ourselves many titles. Leadership in my book is very simply this. It's the ability to make a positive difference to people and society. It's the ability to make a positive difference to people and society. That's it. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how many degrees you have. If you, through your actions, can make a positive difference to the people who work with you, or in your neighborhood, or in society, that is leadership. Don't worry about anything else. As long as you do this, I think you'll be fine. The next thing I want to talk to you about leadership is, no leader is perfect. No leader is perfect. Your house captain in school will not be perfect. Your school leader will not be perfect. So remember this. We write in magazines, we write or we shoot in videos, we write books which says a leader is perfect. There is nothing called a perfect leader. So my point to you is, don't look to be a perfect leader. Be yourself. Your strengths, your opportunities, your challenges will make you a great leader. So don't try to be somebody else. Don't try to be perfect. Next, let's look at a few examples and learn from the greats. The greats of what I call displaying leadership in various elements. First up, Nelson Mandela. The most important characteristic of a leader is courage. Courage does not mean foolhardiness of Don Quixote. That is not courage. That's foolhardiness. Courage, as Nelson Mandela defined it, was, it is not the absence of fear, but the ability to overcome it. All of us have fear. I had fear before I stood up and spoke to 1,300 people. The ability to overcome fear is what courage is. Let's look at Mandela. 27 years he was in jail. He comes out, he pardons everybody who put him in jail. Very few people can actually do that. That takes courage. It takes courage to say, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. He had great courage in saying pardon to all the people who are there. It took great courage for him to say, we must unite the whites and the blacks in South Africa. When the Rugby World Cup was played in South Africa, he called the rugby captain and said, I want you to win this for South Africa, to unite South Africa. On the first day of the tournament, He walks into the ground wearing the t-shirt of the white captain. With one stroke, he united that country. That is what courage is about. Courage is about taking the path which has not been taken. So, here are two things for you. At your level, I want you to think of courage as the ability to speak up. A lot of the time we don't speak up. We say somebody else will speak up. Why do I need to speak up? That is not courage. That is giving away your responsibility. A good leader, and you are a good leader of today, you'll be a great leader of tomorrow. Have the courage to speak up. We should have the courage to speak up when things are bad. When we see wrong, we should stand up and say, this is wrong. You might not be able to do anything about it, but you should have the voice to say, this is wrong. That's important. Equally, too much courage is arrogance. You must also know where you divide it. Too much courage will lead to a lot of arrogance on your part. So any virtue of leadership, if there's too much of it, is bad. Too little of it is also bad. Okay? So courage is the ability to speak up. Communicate clearly and succinctly. And in order to communicate well, you need to listen well. If you're a poor listener, you'll be a poor communicator. So many leaders are outstanding speakers, but poor listeners. So communicate well, but one part of communication is the ability to listen very well. Let's look at this example of the wrong type of courage. So, I didn't have to say anything about that slide, right? You picked it yourself. Okay, that is the wrong type of courage. That's not a courage which either you want, or your friends want, or your teachers want, or your parents want. That's the wrong type of courage. Okay, too much of something. So the first element to great leadership is courage. The second element to great leadership is this, being a team player. I cannot tell you how important it is to be a good team player. Nothing is won in this life by any individual. The greatest achievements in life are when you work as a team. When you work as a team, you win a lot more. Dravid is a great example of an outstanding team player. He batted opening for India, 1 drop for India, 5 drop, 7, whatever it is. He kept wickets. He fielded wherever needed. He did what the team wanted. Once Rahul Dravid was asked, which was the best match you ever played in? He picked the Lord's match when India was chasing 325 and Kaif and Yuvraj made those runs when India won that NatWest trophy. In that match, Rahul Dravid made 7 runs. So somebody asked him, how can that be your best match? You made nothing. You made 7 runs. He said, I agree. But in that match, I decided to keep wickets. Because I decided to keep wickets, India could afford to play Kaif. Because India played Kaif, Kaif scored the runs and we won. That is team spirit. The challenge of being in a team is you know where you are in a team. If you're the captain, you know you're the captain. If you're the star player, you know you're the star player, etc. But the trick of good leaders is not to seek privilege because you're captain, not to seek privilege because you're the star player or the star orator. The moment you seek privilege, you will never be a good leader. You will not be a team player. Because privileges have to be for the team and not for the individual. So please think hard when you are the star in the team that you have to work for the team and not for yourself. Okay? Work for the team more than yourself. Third, I have 3 15-year-olds here. They were all 15 when they made a very big mark. Some of you are 15, some of you are 16. Tendulkar, when he was 15, had made a Ranji century. When he was 16, he was playing Akram, etc. Messi, Messi went to Barcelona when he was 12. When he was 12, from Argentina. He went with his father. He had a medical ailment. Barcelona took care of him, still loyal to them. Ronaldo was playing when he was 15. So 15-year-olds who made a huge impact. The question is, be your very best. And how does one try to be the very best? Very simple. This is what Malcolm Gladwell says, the 10,000-hour rule. 10,000 hours looks very big. But think about it. It's 416 days. 416 days. In the next 10 years, which is 3,650 days, you can surely spend 416 days honing what you think you are good at, spending more time at it. When I finished from management school, in the first 10 years that I finished from management school, I wanted to be something good at marketing. I read every single book, every single article, watched every single video possible to be a better marketeer. I finished my 10,000 hours in those years. The Beatles, which are a great group, not of your era, but of a different era, they had played 1,263 times together before they set shore in America. Playing together 1,263 times made them improvise, made them better and better and better. Bill Gates had done 10,000 hours of programming before he started. So each and every prodigy, each and every person who is very good at their craft spends 10,000 hours. You cannot be good if you do not spend time and energy on what you're good at. You'll figure out what you're good at as you go. But the moment you know you're good at something, spend more time and energy there, and you will be the best. Nobody ever can say you're not a leader of that craft or that sport. Tendulkar is a leader of batsmanship, full stop. Messi is the leader of football. Ronaldo is the leader of football. Nobody can deny them that. So similarly, you pick your craft and be the very best there is in that. And absolutely the world cannot stop you, I can guarantee you that. Next, embrace opponents. This is a very important thing. We tend to see the world as people who are with us, people who are against us. Okay. Doris Goodwin wrote a book called The Team of Rivals. It is the book that President Obama took to the White House. In The Team of Rivals, she profiled Abraham Lincoln. When Lincoln became president, he took 3 of his opponents. He had 6 opponents. 3 of them, he took them into his cabinet, even though they were from the other party. Obama did exactly the same. He took Hillary Clinton into his cabinet, even though she was his opponent when running for president. So, my point to you is, life is short. Life is very short. Build friendships. I'm sure all of you have an enemy in school. What I'd like you to do when you go back on Monday morning, go to that enemy, shake hands and say, I've forgiven everything, I've forgotten everything. Do not build enemies, not worth it. Life is too short. Reach out. If the other person doesn't reach out, it's his or her problem. It's not your problem. Do not count your life by the number of enemies you have. Count your life by the number of friendships you make and the enemies you avoid. Okay, don't forget this. Okay, who is that? Greta Thunberg, absolutely right. She's 16 years old. She's 16. Okay? I saw all her videos before I came to speak to you. She's a big champion of climate change. 22 hours before she said, there's no point in meeting President Trump because he will not understand what I will tell him. Okay? That's what she said 22 hours before. Okay? Okay. So here's a lady who has all that I have described. She's got lots of courage, right? Imagine telling the so-called most powerful man in the world, I don't want to meet you. That is courage, right? But having a point of view and saying, I'm doing this for the world. She's Swedish, born in 2003, I think January 8th or so. Okay? But she's made a big mark for herself. I believe you can make a big mark for yourself. You can be this Thunberg of India. You can be this Thunberg of America. You can be this Thunberg of Singapore or Dubai or wherever you come from. Do not underestimate your own potential. Believe in a cause, champion it, go behind it. Okay? Next, the world is your stage. Dream big. Dream very big. When I started, India was my stage. 30 years ago, India was my stage. This stage where I am in today, where you will be tomorrow, the world is your stage. When the world is your stage, you need to recognize that there are no boundaries. Boundaries are mere lines on a map for your generation. You can be anywhere in the world, you can be a leader anywhere in the world, and you will succeed. Do not worry. The world is your stage. Think at a global level. Do not think at a Hyderabad level or a Delhi level or a Mumbai level. Expand your mind. Think of the world as your stage. So, when I say what I want you to do, what I didn't do, okay, and you should. What my generation didn't do, but you should. You should learn a foreign language. Very, very important. Whichever the language that is, whether it's French, whether it's Chinese, whether it's Spanish, learn something different. It will help you connect with the rest of the world much better. Learn a foreign language. Number two, learn to play a musical instrument or learn to sing. Music unites the world more than anything else. Trust me, I can't sing for nuts. Okay? If I sing, people say, what's the tune of the song? Let's find out. Let's play the Shazam or something and find out what this guy is singing. Learn how to enjoy music. Be good at it. That's the second one. Start your own video feed. You can do it tomorrow. It costs you nothing. Have a point of view. Put it out there. You'll have people aligning to your point of view. But most important of all, do whatever you want to do. My generation went by what our parents wanted us to do. Your generation should go by what you want to do, not what your parents want or not what society wants. You do what is good for you. So in summary, you are a privileged lot. I said at the start that today is an important day. Artificial intelligence was launched on this day in 1988. Today is an important day. You are a privileged lot. Nobody will grudge you your privilege, but make a difference to society. Improve the lives of people who are less, fortunate than you. And in doing that itself, you'll be a great leader of society. I talked about the rules of great leadership. There is no one formula that fits leadership. You cannot learn it in a school or in college. Leadership is about real people, real situations. So leadership requires courage, as I mentioned about Nelson Mandela. Leadership requires teamwork. That's absolutely important. Leadership requires you to be your very, very best, like the 15-year-old prodigies. You can make a big difference. The choice is entirely yours. Nothing in the world will stop you. The stage is a global stage for you and your ambitions. All the very best, and thank you for inviting me here this afternoon.